Okay, first of all, let's explain what this means right here. When I say a vertical stretch or a horizontal shrink, like this is a similar sign, right? So it's vertical stretch is similar to a horizontal shrink. Vertical shrink is similar to a horizontal stretch, right? Let's talk about that. If I stretch something and I stretch it and I take like Play-Doh and I pull it up, right? I take a piece and I pull it with my hands and I stretch it vertically or stretch it straight up and down. Then when I look at that horizontally, it looks like it got skinnier, right? Like the Play-Doh is the same amount of stuff. It can stretch and get taller, but if it gets taller, it's going to get skinnier. Same thing if I take Play-Doh and I put it on the table and I squash it down with my hand. If I make it shorter, it's going to widen out and spread horizontally, right? So showing that with a calculator, here is my parent function of the parabola, it's x squared. So if I do 5x squared, right? Notice it got skinnier. It's like I took it and stretched it vertically, right? But at the same time, it also looks like I squashed it in horizontally. So a vertical stretch is a horizontal shrink, right? That's something we need to get in our heads and be able to understand this. And then when we do the notes, you'll figure out like what's going on, right? Okay. Another thing we need to do is we say inside equals vertical. Inside equals horizontal. And outside equals vertical. Whatever the function is, if we do it inside just with the x, like this right here, this or this, if it's inside of parentheses with just the x, then that's a horizontal change. If it's outside, so I put the function in parentheses and then do something outside, this, or this, then that is a vertical change. Okay, so AO, if I multiply, A is a number that we're going to multiply. AO just means outside, right? If AO is greater than 1, right, on the outside, that is a vertical stretch. Okay? And I'm going to abbreviate vertical. And if 0 is less than, A is less than 1, which means it's a decimal. It's just in between 0 and 1. That's a decimal or a fraction. Then that is a horizontal, it's still on the outside, so it's still vertical. You can see, even I'm confusing myself right now. It can get confusing if you don't write it down. Vertical shrink. Okay. If it is on the outside, if A is greater than 1, we call that a horizontal. Horizontal shrink. Right? A is greater than 1 if it's on the inside. I'm still multiplying, so pick like a number like 5, like the one we did here. Right? If we did 5 and we multiplied it on the outside, it will get tall and skinny, but when we're looking at it vertically, that's a vertical stretch. If I put the 5 inside in a parentheses, it changed, it got skinnier, taller, but now we're looking at it horizontally, so horizontally it shrunk. It got squashed in, right? So A is between 0 and 1. Then that is a horizontal stretch. What does that mean? Like if I'm doing a fraction. So if I just say 1 divided by 5. Multiply the 1/5 times x. right? That's a decimal. See, now horizontally it's stretched. Okay, so wherever that number is, that's what we're looking at. All right, the rest of this stuff is pretty easy. This right here is a symbol that just means that there is a sign change. Okay, if they make it positive or they make it negative, if they change the sign, that's going to result in a flip or a reflection. Right, that one's a flip, that one's a flip. And flips, we say, are reflections. All right. So these are all the vertical stuff, and this is all the horizontal stuff. So H is in here inside, right? So for H, if it says minus a number, so minus H, moves to the right. Adding H moves to the left. This one right here is counterintuitive. It's opposite of what you think. Usually when we add, we go right, but this is backwards, right? Right? It's switched because of this sign right here. Because it says minus H right there, it's actually switched. So adding goes to the left, subtracting goes to the right. K, however, K is good. So if you're adding with K, that's up, and subtracting K is down. That's what you would expect. Okay? And so H and K, we call that a shift. It's lowercase h. Yeah, just lowercase h. So K and H are shifts. That just means the whole function moves, right? So that's all of the notes. I'll do the examples on the next video.